What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining this little live stream that we're going to be doing, going into the depths of different people doing the 28 Tricks Later concept, or taking that 28 Tricks Later challenge, I should say, and changing the concept of it from the average and what we all know, what most of us, majority of us do, where we just post tricks, level up, push ourselves to become a better Kendama player. And there's a few people out there who have been taking that idea and not doing tricks so much, but adding extra value, giving some information, some wisdom possibly about the world of Kendama from their perspective. So it's really cool, and I'm really happy that everyone's going to be joining for this one. And today we're going to have on Zack Gallagher, Sweets Pro, to talk about his concepts, which have been very creative, very, I guess, just different from the average, akin to his kin, and just giving a lot of messages, like straightforward, right to the camera. You know, you got some nice backgrounds every once in a while. Maybe there was like one trick, but let's get Zack in here right now. Yo, what's up, Zack?
What's up, dude?
How you doing, dude?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. You know, it's just the morning. It's a very nice day here in the JP. How's it over in the FL?
It's going good at 8:30. You know, good night. Super warm. Super nice.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yes,
It's good, dude.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So yeah, what we're going to be doing for the next probably hour, hopefully, talking about Zack's idea of his 28 Tricks Later and what he's been talking about. Maybe go in depth of some of the messages, because there has been 29. Did you post? I didn't see.
I just posted it before this, so
Oh, there we go.
made it. We did it.
Nice.
Every day.
Clutched. So we're going to also be doing a Q&A, so everyone has a chance to ask Zack a question specifically about the concept, about some of the messages and some of the videos that he's been posting throughout the month. Okay, so let's kick it off, Zack, with the initial reason why you started this idea, how you had this concept, stepping away from just grinding, doing a trick, and grinding dialogue pretty much to the camera.
Yeah. So coming into this 28, I knew that this year I wanted to do something different. You know, this year I've done 28. I missed 1 year in the past since 2018 because I had surgery, and I was like, I don't want to do it this year if I'm with crutches, you know. But other than that, I had it. I just do it every single year since 2018. And this year I felt, okay, you know what? I thought I was going to do daily live streams at first, because Nick was like, oh, do daily reel. And I was like, okay. And then Nick posted his, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll probably just do a daily reel as well. Let's just see what happens. It'll challenge me a little more. I think live streams are I'm a little better at those, just because it's less work. But this daily reel, the camera, I saw like Nick's video. I was like, okay, I want to challenge myself to do that too. Because speaking to the camera, not something I'm bad at, like, going into this, but something I wanted to get way better at, expressing my thoughts, opinions, and talking to the camera, because it was I felt like that was a nice challenge for my communication skills. Yeah, and I wanted to do that. I knew going into this month, I knew I wanted to do something different. Let's spice things up a little bit. I've done tricks straight up in the past like however many years I've been doing it, so I wanted to spice it up, and I landed on this, and I didn't really know what to expect, but I really, really liked doing it this year this way. I don't know if I'll do it we'll see what happens next year. Yeah. I'm super open to doing tricks again. But we will see. This is a really good challenge for me, and I think it got received pretty well, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So was there any other idea that you had besides the conversation, or right? You're mentioning you did want to do something different. Was there any other idea? Some people have been doing arts, some people have been doing different, just using, or I think some was 3D printing kendamas. I forgot who he was.
Probably.
Yeah. There was 3D renders. Was there any other idea that you had besides the talking for the camera?
Nope, just the live streams.
Okay.
And I as soon as first day, I actually filmed something for my story to just post, because that first post I posted on day one, I actually was just going to post my story. And it's funny because it was a 3-minute video. I would have to split it up 4 times on my phone to split it up, make it match. But then I filmed that video because it just came to me. I was filming something that day, and I was like, oh, let me just film what's on my mind right now. And I was like, I could just turn this into a reel. And I saw Nick post his, and I was like, Yeah, it'll be a little more challenging for me this month, so I'm gonna do that. So I just stuck with that.
All right. Was there a little like brotherly competition that you felt? You feel like, hey, Nick's doing it. All right.
More like inspiration. I mean, Nick and I have always like noticed each other to like unconsciously and consciously in our lives, and I thought this, and we were on definitely the same wavelength for this year, like in terms of like do something different. Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna do live streams. He was gonna do reels. I just thought Israel, and I was like, and I already filmed something for that. And I was just like, I could just turn that into a reel. So that's kind of how I started doing it. So definitely was we're using each other's energy this month, right, to propel ourselves forward. You know, like, and just watching him kill it was really inspiring for me, and just picking up on little things that like we can improve on too. So that was really good.
Nice. Okay. So where did all of the ideas for each of the days come through? Because, you know, it can be a bit challenging to explain a different perspective. And I know that many Kendama players, we want to be better than the last post, right? Yeah. So I'm sure with all like creatives too, you know, if you're writing a book, if you're an author, making movies, you want to be, this next one's going to be better somehow. Did that kind of cripple you, or did you have like a notebook of like, I got 20 something ideas that I'm going to riff off of?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I started out with, I did free write. You know, I would free write, and I would come up with ideas days in advance. And honestly, even if I did free write, but most of the videos, more often than not, I would just come up with kind of on the spot. So I would delegate a time in my day to kind of to film it. Kind of do the entire process of ideating, filming, editing, whatever, captions, whatever, you know, all of that. So I would and I would honestly more often than not do the whole thing on the day of. And you know, some days it was hard to come up with an idea for a reel, but I found that as the month went on and on and on, even like today, even the past couple of days, it actually became for the majority of the time like a lot easier as the days went on, because at first it's like, what do I talk about? I don't really know where this is going. I'm not used to doing this. But the more I wrote about my ideas, the more I'm actually having this on my mind. Like, okay, every single day this month, I want to express something that's on my mind, my opinion, my perspective on something in regards to Kendama. And the more I think about that, the more my ideas just come to me. Sometimes it would take like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of free writing to just kind of pop on a certain thing, just have something stick, be like, okay, boom, that's what I'm going to talk about. Yeah. Sometimes it just be like, I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, we're going to talk about that today. Like, I'm going to talk about that. So if the process looked a little different, it was a little at a different speed each day, but I think the more I did it, the better I got at the process of it. And also really thinking about it, I forgot how many thoughts we have in a single day, but it's like in the hundreds of thousands. So it's like
definitely
really pop. Like when you think about it like that, it's not that hard. It shouldn't be that hard to do this, right? As long as the person's like, of course it's gonna be hard at first, but like as the person gets more into it, you know, we have so many thoughts per day. Of course, we're going to be able to do this in some capacity. Like, it's just hard to get used to it first, you know?
But a lot of those thoughts will be something small, like, should I go to take a shit now, or should I go after? You know, like small things that are very like everyday occurrences. So you don't really think of them as like a real thought process. Right. Like, this is a negotiation of, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Which one's better? Where here, you know, you really set yourself a challenge of saying something maybe impactful, meaningful, to give some value to the person who's watching, and to also give your perspective on it. So yeah, you want to, you know, think about it so it's well said and the message comes across and whatnot. So you had some points written down and stuff. Did you ever have any like script, or would you just talk and then spend a good amount of time editing after? Because I know like that's happened to me sometimes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to explain it this way, and then I do the take and I'm like, okay, editing, or maybe I say it a few different ways and then I have to go in, cut up. Like that can be the most process.
So the first day I just kind of went off what was all in mind, and that took forever. Like that actually took forever, and it was a long video too. It was like literally 3 minutes. So adding captions to a 3-minute video, go back and then, you know, that takes so long. And I was like, I don't know if that'll ever happen again this month. I'll not try to do that every single day. But so I would, but part of that process was, in the part of the free write process, a part of the ideation process, I would give myself an outline, a script, but also like not like I have to stick to the script. Like sometimes I would think of something and like how to make it better, how to articulate myself better in the way I wanted to mid filming, you know? So I told myself like, okay, I'm going to say a couple different things a little differently, but I would give myself an outline because I didn't want to make these messages, you know, easy to digest, like coherent, like well thought out. Like I wanted to be able to express myself as best as possible. Of course, it's not like I'm spending hours and hours and hours on like an outline for an 8 hour, for like a 90-second, 60-second video.
Right.
But I was putting, you know, maybe it took me maybe like 15, 20 minutes to come up with some of these like outlines or for videos, some like 10 to 20 minutes, but definitely enough time, like once I actually settled on the idea. So definitely plan most of the days out, like all of them except for the first one. And I found that process to work really good for me because once I had the outline, I mean, I would just go out and film. And I just go switch back from my camera to my notes app and then just kind of go.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think in the future it's going to be, and this is really good practice because every single day I was doing takes, editing his videos, obviously shooting the video, but also going back and editing them. I feel like the messages I was saying, especially the ones I'm more passionate about, were just like being etched in my brain more and more and more. And so now if I'm going to talk about those in the future in any sense, which I definitely will be, and will there be a conversation or on camera again, I will be able to talk about it with way more fluidity in a way I can express myself at the level I want to, like way easier because I've already done it before. You know, I've already done this. It's just more practice to start actually talking about this out loud and really think about everything that's like ruminating in my head, you know? So I thought that was really good benefit too.
Yeah, I mean, stand-up comedy, very similar, right? You have your ideas, you have these jokes, these punchlines, and then you use them and you say it a few times on stage. You feel out the crowd. You see like when to drop the punchline. It can be changed depending on like what stage you're on and stuff in the show. So yeah, these are also just, again, good things, repetition. Like everything comes back to, if you want to get better at something, you got to put in the time and the work and the consistency to get better at that thing. So what were the difficult parts of this whole month? Because now it's finished, you know, zipped up, you close the suitcase, fits, sent out.
I definitely underestimated how long it was going to take every day. Because even though it was only a 60-second video, 60 to 90 seconds, I definitely underestimated how long it would take the entire process. So like the figuring process about what I'm gonna talk about, outlining, going out, filming, coming back, editing, captions, post with the caption too. I honestly I was putting a lot more effort into the captions at the start, and then like making. And I was like, I'm gonna hold my thoughts and kind of just save them for the video, you know, and so all that process took a bit, and that was the hardest part. I underestimated how long that was going to take because I was like, okay, this isn't like, it's different, right? It's different because in 28 tricks later, you could get a trick within like 10 minutes and then just post it, or you can spend like a couple hours on it. This always took like cumulatively like an hour plus, you know, like always like probably like always cumulatively. So I always, but I didn't really. And some of them like might have taken longer depending on what the schedule of the day was like. But that was the hardest part. I really underestimated how long it was going to take. And I feel like things like this, especially I haven't done them before, always going to take longer than I think.
Yes.
But really living that, I was like, oh shit, like I'm really about to take like it's really already been an hour and I still don't have this up yet, you know. So it was definitely a learning process, but Yes,
and that's a part of the grind, you know, again, I think it's really cool that other people are taking the 28 tricks later and changing, you know, turning it on its head and figuring out a different perspective of it, because it can still be it totally is still a challenge to be posting anything every day. So hats off to those, you know, I know there's a few shredders out there around the globe who have gone on to like years. Like I think they're like someone who's on like day 1,000. Dude, there's this one Japanese dude who's like every day doing around Denmark, and like that's all he does. I think he's on day like 1,000 something. I'm like, bro, wait, 1,000 and horrible at math. It's like 3 years.
Oh my god!
But it's,
he could be becoming like so much better at different tricks. I remember Yui that I don't know if she's playing anymore or no.
I think, you know, she's in that age range where school is becoming more of an important factor in her life. She's still, I think, she'll elementary school student, but she'd still definitely sessions, you know, just maybe doesn't post as much.
She posted like day for like 3.5 years for 4 years.
Yeah. She grinded, and that's really, put her on the spot. But yeah, anyone doing anything, posting, even a simple thing where you feel like, oh, it's just going to be talking to the camera. Yeah. Should be easy. Nope. There's a lot of stuff that goes before, during, and after that whole setup, whatever we're trying to create. So, dude, hats off to you. For destroying it throughout the month.
It was a fun challenge. It was fun.
Yeah. So what do you hope others to get out of this? Out of all your messages, the 29?
Yeah. I think the overall part about this is that, I hope people take value away from the messages. I think they have, based on the feedback I've been getting. But with what I've been doing with this is actually, I hope it encourages other people to kind of express themselves in a deeper way too, in a more like authentic way to themselves as well. Because most of us in Kendama, Kendama for us as Kendama players, people have different levels of interest with Kendama, but most players I know, Kendama is at least a significant part of their life, like at least. And especially the ones who are posting clips on Instagram, because they're actually in the game, like they're Kendama. Kendama it might be a big factor of someone's life, but it's also like that's only one dimension of your life. You're a multifaceted person. This is you have so many different other interests. Most likely, we're all these different assets to ourselves and different factors to ourselves that I think a lot of people would greatly appreciate if more people were to let people know about it. Because a lot of people will have like an Instagram where it's like Kendama _ their name, and it'll just be Kendama,
right?
Which is fine, which is totally fine. But the connection, like, I think about the real value of Kendama, and something that I've gotten the most value from with it is the amount of connection that I've gotten over the past 12 years. Whether it be going in my local community to meeting some of my, in the future, like best friends with Kendama, or like going across the world to Japan, where I can't even speak. I can't speak Japanese. I'm playing Kendama with somebody, and we're connected in that way.
Yeah,
it's a really powerful tool. I think doing something like I took it to a pretty extreme. I was posting a video every single day, but just like if people were to post like more like story posts or write out captions of more of what they're like thinking about different stuff, instead of being like post trick 3-tap triple cam flip jump spike, and this is all we want to know. Like, people in Kendama, like, we love the connection aspect, and the best part of events, best part of these get-togethers is the connection aspect itself. When we can actually talk to players in person, I think that connection would be enhanced online. Even though online is a great opportunity to connect with others already, it would be enhanced. That connection would be enhanced if other people were kind of sharing more of their actual, like, what they were thinking, like putting themselves more out there. And it can be like a little daunting to do that. It can be. I can totally understand that, but I really think it deepens the connection further and further. And it's cool because I'd like to think people want to know more about other people. There's more opportunity to connect on there. There's more opportunity to find out what that person likes and doesn't like. And I think a lot of people are kind of afraid of doing that because they might think, man, like, what if someone doesn't like what I think or what I do or whatever? Well, good. Like, that's good, because then who you can connect with more, because that opens opportunities. You're like, all right, you have two options. One, someone's gonna disagree or whatever, not be into what you're saying. That's fine. You connect with them on this level, the Kendama, that's okay. And then you have another opportunity where you can just go deeper and deeper into the connection with others who aren't listening with what you're saying. The first time I met someone, the first time like anybody who's playing Kendama by themselves, for example, meets another Kendama player, that's like boom, like that blows their mind.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the same thing when you kind of figure out someone's into the same stuff that you're into. It's like, holy shit, like, we can connect on something that's other than Kendama. Our relationship just got like that much more like powerful. It's really, I think that's really cool, and I hope what people got out of my 29 days was just encouragement to do a little bit of that themselves, to kind of put themselves a little more out there, put themselves, their authentic selves forth, and kind of just share that with the world, because there's no harm in doing that at all.
Right. And I feel like, that is something that everyone struggles with, posting themselves a little more. And there's plenty of people who don't care to, people who create different separate accounts just for a specific thing, because people who follow might not want to or not care for, about what kind of t-shirt you wear. I remember, like, when I first started Instagram. I didn't start Instagram for a long time, and I even didn't have a smartphone. I had to go through the computer to do all that. And I started it because of the Sweets Design a Prime contest.
Oh, no
and that was my very first post. I was like, okay, let me try to do something. And after that, yeah, you know, like I was stuck. I was like, I don't know what to post. You know, I wasn't one of those people who plays and sessions just to post and share it, right?
Yeah.
I never was like that for Kendama. So I was like, what do I do? And I was like, I found something that I have a passion for, which was I collect shirts, graphic tees. And every day I would just post, here's my tee for today, you know? And then it gradually opened up into different things, maybe my types of like artists that I like, or maybe posting my own art. And then, of course, the Kendama was mixed in there too. So it's something that I feel has the benefit of, like you're saying, connecting with people who share the same thing. Because we all jive on the same Kendama. That's cool. But then the next step is, oh, wait, maybe you're into like, I don't know, like, for me, heavy metal. It's like, oh, wait, you like heavy metal too? Like, all right, Slayer, Panther, you know, and then that kicks it for another notch, right? I'm sure other people, like maybe guessing in your case, you know, being more on the fitness side, thinking about how many, I don't know, animals I can eat today. Just kidding. And that is, again, another connection point. So with that said, and you're mentioning it was difficult for you to do. It was a challenge stepping in front of the camera, talking about, you know, your beliefs and stuff, and trying to not worry so much about pleasing everyone, right? Talking your mind and saying what you feel is correct, and hopefully without stepping on people's toes. I'm sure you're thinking about that, but to say like, okay, if you don't completely agree with it, that's fine. We can go our separate ways, but we can still understand each other on a human plane. So as you're saying, you want to give people motivation to start getting out there a little bit, maybe opening up, sharing their hobbies or something. What helped you, do you feel, from doing that, from opening up more, from, you know, talking more about your fitness stuff and your diet stuff? How is that impacted you in a positive way? To, you know, just to give perspective for people who are like, I don't know, should I post about, you know, my love for collecting stamps or something, you know?
Yeah, no, I think what's really helped me with that, and I think people may you could say, oh, it's easy for you to say, Zach, like when I'm saying this, but anybody can have this impact. I think what really helped me continue to do this was two major things. One thing I already mentioned, the connection aspect. It was really cool to connect with others. People, you know, DMing me of stuff I posted or commenting like, man, this really, you know, like this was really awesome. I'm into this too. That was really cool. So I'm figuring out who I can, you know, I'm striking up conversations with people I may have never talked to before in Kendama, you know, and I feel like I do know a lot of people in Kendama. And so when I can find someone I have never really connected with, it's always a pleasure to do that. So really, to have that aspect just enhanced. Number two, this is a big one for me. I feel like I was able to help a lot of people. I feel like a lot of things I was talking about was able to, because my intention was also not just to I wanted to have value in every post. I wanted to have value along my perspective in every single post to give somebody like a takeaway from a lesson I've learned and how it's affected me, and hopefully that would resonate with other people, you know, through
sharing your knowledge.
You know, like lessons I posted a lot about those, and it was really impactful for me to see that, you know, it was helping others when they commented, like DM me, thank you so much for sharing this. It's really helped me get through this, or man, thank you so much for putting this post out there. Really helped me today. Or like, man, I never thought about that. Something like this, you know, like that was really, really powerful for me. And I felt like, you know, it was really cool to have that impact on others. One of my favorite thing in life is to help others. So that resonated with me a lot, and it definitely gave me a lot of motivation to keep going every single day. And some people watch, you may say like, okay, well, Zach, like, you know, that's easy for you to say. You have a pretty big platform in social media, but a lot of people are watching this. Yeah. But doing this, this would be useful even if you had 0 followers, legitimately, because you're not even, you don't know. Most people watching this, you don't have 0 followers. You have some people following you. If you have one person following you, you have an impact. Like, you never know who's watching. That's the biggest thing. That's one of the biggest takeaways I've had from this month. And in the past, like, because I feel like I've been sharing more about what I'm into and what I think, like even before this one too. I feel like I was doing the role was behind. And I would go to these Kendama events and people would approach me not to even talk about Kendama, but to like be like, hey, like what you posted about like lifting the other day really helped me. Or like, hey, what you posted about nutrition, like that really changed my life. Like I had some of those, getting those interactions and DMs, and maybe not even those topics. It was just something like random I thought of, or something that that was really resonating with me that day that I wanted to spread out and post on my story and have other people see. People would DM me and really tell me how much it helped them in their lives. And I was like, wow, I'm so not used to getting this for anything else other than Kendama. You know, the main message I'm used to receiving is like, dude, your tricks are so cool, super inspiring. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Which I'm super grateful for all the time. But to get that same impact, and actually probably a deeper impact, there's something completely different. That was mind blowing to me. You know, it was mind blowing. And that anybody can do that. You don't have to have the platform that I have. If you have one follower, you know, you can have that impact on people. You never know who's watching, and even if people don't say anything, you like you're still probably impacting people's, like, no matter what. Like, we're being influenced and we're influencing. If we, especially with a modern day like job, like hundreds of people per day. Yeah. Like we're hundreds of people per day. That's what we're doing. Like especially with social media. Like that's really what it is. And even in persons, like say you have zero followers, you're gonna be posting about this stuff, and you're going to be these ideas that you're resonating with. Like say if you do this 29-day challenge, you have 0 followers, you're going to be bringing these ideas to people in person in your life. You having the intent of having these ideas with people in your life that you're going to be talking to every day. You're going to be impacting them, influencing them with how you're speaking, how you're talking, how you're presenting yourself, where you're going, where your perspective's at. I think anybody has such a huge impact on hundreds of people every single day. And so this would help anybody, no matter what platform you have. So I just wanted to put that out there, because if in case people are thinking like, oh, Zach, you have like 20,000 followers, of course you're going to impact people, but you know, we have all of that opportunity.
Yeah. To spread it out, or to, like you said, influence, send a message across, and for the people who resonate and decide to maybe act on it or agree with you, or, you know, just to kind of click in their minds to be like, oh, this is a different way of thinking. That's interesting, fun, you know, sharing the knowledge that you have is a thing that I think a lot of Kendama players like have in their, you know, experience, history, knowledge, but like you mentioned, right, we're just set to create aesthetically pleasing tricks or good shots, and, you know, trying to level up the game, which is all, you know, within the same nerd ball. It's all adds to the party pretty much. So if you want to do it that way, you know, we're not complaining, we're not saying anything, but we're just mentioning, there might be extra impactfulness or extra gains you can get, you know, you see what I did there? If you share yourself, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, 29 messages, but you've mentioned, you know, you've been having these kind of dialogues, these conversations, these posts before this challenge happened. Is this going to continue? What's happening start March?
I think so. So the daily reels, no, I'm done with those. I was just challenged, and I think daily, you know, I commend everybody and respect everybody who's daily posting for anything. To be honest, it's a challenge, especially if you're actually putting like any type of real effort behind what you're posting. And in any way, it's a challenge. It's tough. And especially those people where I know people who are posting like twice a day, that's ridiculous. But, you know, I mean, and I respect that a lot. But no, for me, like daily posting this month, I'm going to stop. I want to continue posting on a frequent basis, but I actually, like, going into March, definitely going to be less frequent, hopefully 2 to 3 times a week. And I'm probably not going to post for like a week on my feed just because I just want to break. But this overall, this whole thing, like, you know, I mean, this is more like if I am going to continue to share like what I think, because if I feel, especially if I really resonate with it, whether it be like a story post, a couple story posts in a row, you know, am I going to do a talking reel again? Like most definitely, it's not the same frequency probably that I'm doing right now, but 100% this will keep going.
Yeah. Nice, dude. And let's hear, you know, you and Nick have been making a lot of moves within Kendama, coaching, I would think, aspects of Kendama, this sport that from my understanding, you know, I didn't know you guys when you had the skunk hair, but you were big into soccer, right? Me too. I was a soccer player. I got very turned off when I hit high school, and my coach was more passionate about winning than I was about just having fun.
Right.
So I stepped away from that, but that whole competition side of it, having a coach, having someone kind of like teach you how to get better or something, that's something that, we haven't seen so much in Kendama. There's been a few players in the past who've like been, hey, like personal, like coaching lessons or something. Of course, Josh has been doing amazing things with people who don't know about Kendama, teaching in that way. But you guys, taking another path onto with the G standard. So how much of this stuff that you're sharing is connected, do you think, with or aligns with G standards?
I think mostly all of it. Of course, I'm not going to say completely all of it. I'm my own, like we're all our own people, right? But I wanted to. I'm going to say with confidence that everybody in G standards, they know authentically who Nick and I really are, like 100%. I mean, we're more than most people just because, we're interacting with them more than most people at this point. Right. So, and they're in that because they respect, they're in this with us because they respect us. They respect us, what we're doing, and they respect the process of what we're trying to create with G standards, which is just to create a new standard for Kendama players, developing the players within the community. And so I think a lot of the messages I said, I can say for confidence that the high majority of them would resonate with the people in G standards for sure. It's not like sometimes I would make a reel and based off something we talked about in the chat that day, or like, for example, we interviewed Edwin on the podcast last week, and then a couple ideas from that podcast kind of stuck with me, and I had to I wanted to talk about it further, So I think it's not like everything I said this month. I wouldn't say it's like directly tied to everybody there, but I think the messages, like most of them would resonate, So
Okay. So example, like for some of those people who are not a part of the G standards, these are kind of like bite-sized ideas or ideals that you could get if you were to join the standard.
For sure. So I mean, anything that you're, if anybody's watching you resonate with what I'm saying, or my brother's saying, this is us. Like, this is us as people. And if you want to be in an environment where these values are being valued, and you want to talk about these things, and you're interested in what these perspectives are, and whether, you agree with us fully or not, like you're intrigued, like call in, like let's have a chat, because this is really a big part of how we, run everything. We're authentically ourselves. And if you can resonate with what we're talking about in any way, I mean, I think G standards would be a good thing to inquire with for you. So I think for anybody, as long as you said, like bite-sized pieces of kind of the stuff we're talking about in G standards, not everything I literally posted, but of course, like messages that resonate with you as a Kendama player. I mean, this is stuff that we're dialing in on consciously and unconsciously in G standards. We're doing it with all of our players. So anything that gets to that next level. So
nice, dude. That's awesome. Okay, all right, everyone. Well, that's all the questions that I had, Zach. Thank you so much. We're gonna open it up now for everyone who is hanging out right here. Let's have questions, Q&A right now for Zach about some of the messages, this concept of 28 tricks later, what he's been doing. This is a leap year, so we're all lucky, I would say, for the people consuming or, enjoying the videos, because we got an extra video compared to the normal years. So let's wait a little bit. If you guys have any questions for Zach, use that little question tool down below so we can highlight it and share that so everyone can focus in on it. While we wait for some people to ask a question, Zach, let's hear more about the podcast.
The podcast. We started the podcast. We've been doing it on every single week except for 1 week. We skipped 1 week for the past 2 months, over 2 months now. So really, it's been really nice. So just having that opportunity to again, another opportunity to share when Nick and I are, thinking, and also what we want to talk about in Kendama. I feel like some topics that we're talking about in Kendama are, haven't been discussed publicly as much from, I guess, like high level players, right? Like high level players haven't really talked about this and have offered this information to like the public. So it's something like this from our side of things is really, I feel like it's new and fresh and something that Nick and I are actually become developing more and more excitement for this podcast. I mean, as soon as we started doing them, like, this just feels right. Like, this feels right. 12 years in the game. We have a lot of experience. We have a lot of accomplishments, and we feel like we have some knowledge to share that people will value. Hopefully, we want to help people with what we're saying, So that was really cool. We just started to bring on more people, more guests. We got 13 episodes so far, and we have had 3 guests on: Isaac Turner, Edwin, and Johnny Kress most recently. We just dropped that yesterday. So I think that's been really, really fun. Every single interview we've had has been not along this podcast. Like Isaac, we talked for legit 2.5 hours. I joked about it with Isaac, like we could literally have it be the Nick, Zach, and Isaac podcast, because dude, us 3 can just talk forever about Kendama and other stuff. Like, we can talk forever about that stuff and about everything. And it's just because I feel like Isaac has become a really good friend of mine in the recent months and maybe just over the past year in general. So it's been really cool. And then having Edwin on was powerful. I feel like a lot of people resonated with what Edwin was saying, and Edwin had a lot of messages like saying, "Hey, this really changed the game for me," in my perspective, whether it would be Kendama, smoking weed. Like people hit him up like, "Hey, like how do you quit smoking weed?" Or just even waking them up to seeing like realizing that there's more for themselves. Like hearing Edwin's story. I don't think Edwin has really publicly like talked about his story as much as he did in our podcast, and so he's having a lot of people message him like, "Hey, this really impacted my life," and I think he's really stepping up to that. I think he's realized, he's like, "Oh my gosh, like I have a bigger like influence and impact on people than I previously thought." Like he's stepping into that role, right, where he's now helping people with and without Kendama. Like he was already doing that beforehand with Kendama, but now he's stepping in, and now he's offering even like more impactful way of helping, honestly, and in some aspects, right? So that's really cool for him. I'd love to hear him like talk about that and just kind of discuss that. And then obviously we had Johnny recently on, and that was probably the best podcast we've done so far. I think, in my opinion, I feel like it just floats so well, and it makes so much sense because Johnny, Nick, and I are all just best friends, and we've known each other for 10 years. So it just the third Gallagher. Right. So that was such a fast podcast. Before we knew it, we had an hour and 40 minutes. We're like, all right, let's probably call it here. Even though we talk forever again. So the podcast, dude, it's been really fun, and I'm really, really happy that we did it. As soon as we started doing it, I was like, this is really exciting, and I know you've had a podcast for a long time. You've obviously done the Nerds, and I'm sure you've done other podcasts too, and you're doing this stuff right now as well. So KENDERTAINMENT. So dude, it's cool to get in the game with this, because makes me have more respect, even like for you doing it for so long. And it's sick, dude. So, fun.
No, and it's awesome. There's definitely a different perspective. So that's, I think, like the coolest thing. Each of the, like when you guys created it, and I listened to it, I'm like, you guys, like, we're Dhama nerds, but like you guys are like Dhama, I don't know, like you get the Nobel Prize for how deep you guys are thinking about the tech side of it, how closely you have stuff magnified. What you're zooming in on is in certain points, like just so different from what like me or Rod's zooming in on, or like, and that just again adds to like create like a really full, nice, rounded, kind of perspective on the Dhama. We got some questions. Here we go. Thanks everyone for the questions. They're coming through. Let's hear it. Okay, first one. What was your favorite lace out of these 29 days?
Maybe
from Ken.
I like a couple tricks, but I mean, I guess from other people, dude, I wish I could like remember everybody's tricks. I
mean, that's the one thing about this month. It's like over.
Well, I can't see everybody's tricks. Like, it's actually like, I mean, nobody's seeing anybody's tricks, really. Like, really, like nobody's seeing anybody's tricks. I mean, probably almost like unless you're really deep in it. But, well, that's a lie. People see each other's tricks, but not everybody's for sure. But I think one of my favorite tricks, actually, I saw it was yesterday. This was really cool. George Marshall did. He did a triple dummy take and triple understummy take at the same time. That's actually like, I was like, dude, holy shit. Like that's so major, like right brain, left brain. Like he posted like a breakdown on a story where he was like, took 3 screenshots.
Oh no, I missed that. Yeah.
And he was like, all right, when you on lift off, he's like, first flip, look at dominant hand. Second flip, look at off hand. Third flip, go back to right hand and
close your eyes and pray.
Yeah. Like really, that was really cool. And then, I mean, run me at 8 stunt fast. I was really into stunt fast like last month and going into this month. And so running at 8 flip, boom, stunt fast. I was like, oh, that was massive. So that was crazy as well. And yeah, dude, a lot of people like great tricks. I think Nonica killed it this year. Her trick today was especially like, wow, like that's incredible. Around.
So yeah, I was like, stop.
So,
yeah. Yeah. Odawara Chochi, right? That was one of mine. Odawara Chochi is the Japanese name for it.
Oh, really? For what?
Yes. For candle grip handle stall.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and to go deep, see, you didn't see it. So to go deep with it, it's because Odawara is a city in Hakone, Japan, and they're specialized, or they're known for making those foldable or collapsible lanterns.
Okay.
And those lanterns can be handheld. There can be a stick popping off of the top of it, and you hold it as you walk by, and it's like kind of dangling. And that is represented from this look, the look of holding something, and this would kind of be like the lantern.
Oh, okay.
So Odawara is the city name. Chochin is how you say lantern in Japanese. So that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, little extra nerd intro. But yeah, dude, when I saw that one, I was like, wait, she's still going? Oh, and then she's gonna go. Oh yeah, she's with the flip. Come on, okay. But of course.
Oh, dude.
All right, here we go.
Next. Wait, I also want to say,
yeah,
Nick posted a trick just now that was like ridiculous. Did you see it? That's one of my favorite laces of the week. Yeah, of the entire month. He did one turn tightrope flip. So, yeah,
him in the tightropes. He's getting on the acrobatic stage.
Dude.
Okay,
Nick is
he's getting there.
Player. Like he's gonna be solidified that. Like I think he really is. So
he's gonna turn into Mahadur.
So
a
good,
little bit.
Dude. It's insane. What's up, Chris?
Here we go, bro. From Colorado, Kendama, how do you participate in the G standards? Respect what you're doing.
Yeah, dude. So just message Nick and I. We're gonna. So the process is right now. All we're doing is 3 months. We might change it in the future, and for this next round. But just please message Nick and I, and we can get going on that. So
all right,
keep you in the loop on that. For anybody who's interested in watching this, just message Nick and I. The link to it in my bio isn't updated. It just says like we're closed pretty much.
Yeah.
And so just hit Nick and I up, and if you're interested, you'll be the first ones to get reached out to before we post even that we're doing another round. We're doing so.
Yeah. Dude, you should start. You should just start up like a waiting list.
I think so too.
Website if you can. Yeah. Nice. All right. Good. Let's get to the next one. Okay, here we go. Next question. Velosaur Soul, what influencers have inspired you the most? Are you reading any books right now? What books have you read that inspired you?
So
influencers, books, inspiration.
Yeah, so I think the main inspirations recently, I really like. Yeah, the only couple come to mind, really. One, Ben Patrick. He's the founder of ATG. ATG is an online coaching sort of business, and he's over Toes Guy on Instagram. Most people know him. Like most people know what I actually said he's.
Okay. Little side interruption, dude. When you started wearing that shirt, like I was like, is Zach into At the Gates? Because At the Gates, ATG, is a massive Swedish heavy metal band that's like godly like if you like heavy metal, you most definitely know them, and you probably like them. And I was like, I've never seen that At the Gates shirt design like that. I'd look into it more. So that's my little side heavy metal tangent of every time you wear that, I'm like, yeah, Zach.
No, but yeah, him. I really like his approach to things and social media and his message. I mean, he really impacted my life. I started doing the stuff he was preaching, and like a couple years ago, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to for my knees, it totally impacted my life and changed my entire life for the better. And honestly, it's a big part of why I'm down here in Florida, anyways, because the HQ is literally here. So in the town I live in. So that's a big part of why I'm down here. And also, the second person for sure is Keegan Smith. He's definitely a mentor of mine. His Instagram's name is Keegan Coach, and I've been following him for like 2 to 3 years. He's affiliated with ATG a little bit, but he's mostly doing his own thing now. And he's very authentic to himself. He's very post messages that, you know, I respect him a lot because he has his messages down. Like he can just riff for like 20 minutes and have it be super coherent because he just knows what he's talking about, like for him, and he's to be able to articulate himself and be really, really clearly. And I really like what he posts, especially because a lot of the stuff he posts is sort of daring, depending on the person you are. You know, a lot of this it's definitely not going to be agreeable by everybody, but I respect that because that just shows he has that mental fortitude to do that. And he's well past that any barrier of like, man, I don't know or if this person's going to like think about this about me, you know, but he doesn't give a shit, you know? So he's about his mission, you know, he's about his mission, and it's really helped me a lot in my development too over this past like couple of years. So those two, I'd say, yeah.
Are those guys mostly focused on health or kind of mental health as well, like perspective? Yeah,
so I'd say Ben, like, knees over toes guy, definitely more like fitness. Like, he definitely is all things. Like, I mean, his mission is to get like the most. He wants to help as many people with their knees as possible in the entire world. So I think he's done that already. Like, I'm pretty sure he is that person, but that's his mission. One of his missions, his grand missions anyways. He's very much more on the fitness side of things when it comes to movement. But Keegan's also and like helping people, and Keegan's more so definitely. Keegan's mission is like to get mankind toward like a more athletic future, but he's way more different. Like, he's way more assets that are he's visibly like focusing on. Like Ben, like these are those guy definitely has more stuff he's focusing on, but his main mission that's visible is like fitness. Let's get your knees right. Let's get you have a better higher quality of life physically. And Keegan's like, all right, let's get you more athletic, but let's also think bigger. Like, think bigger than you ever have, and developing yourself as a person. Like, his job is basically like helping to develop the development of men too. So it is more like out like more like a broader circle, or well, these are those guys were like, I'm very focused on this, even though he also has like more stuff.
Yeah,
he's a little more broad.
There is crossover. Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Oh, I think we had another one getting deep from D-Row. Daniel Robinson. How has the modern game made Kendama more accessible? Conversely, how has it created barriers of entry? Modern gameplay, more accessible, and on the opposite side, more difficult to get into.
Yeah, so what comes to mind first is the modern game is getting all more accessible. I think the prevalence of social media is making the awareness a lot more accessible. The awareness of Kendama has never been higher than it is now. I'm not saying more specifically, the potential of its awareness of becoming aware of Kendama has never been higher. That's also very, very. That's probably even more of a truer statement than what I just said. I think that's definitely changed the game, because back in 2008, I mean, we didn't have Instagram. We did back in 2010. The main platform back when I started was YouTube. Like, we all knew each other through YouTube. I didn't start going on Instagram posting Kendama clips until legit like 2013, and even that was like super, super, super early. I think the barrier of getting into Kendama, I think it comes down to the perception of Kendama. I think it's hard to. So I wanna talk about why social media might make it hard to get into it, is because, well, let's put it this way. On one hand, if you see Takia doing 98 tap on a jumbo, right? If you see that, it's like it could either be two. I feel like it'd be on the spectrum of two things. One, that's super interesting. That's really wild. That's crazy. But also, well, actually, within that same token, like, that's not even comprehensible. So now people literally don't even know what they're watching. Yeah. So videos blow up like this. That's really cool. Like we have the most viral clips in Kendama are just raw clips. Like, if that was this past year, the most viral clips have just been raw clips. Yeah. QV, but just no music, nothing. It's pure Kendama play, which is that's actually really cool. But some people may look at that and be like, man, like, that's impossible. Or that's like really hard to get into. Or again, they literally don't know what they're watching, because they're so used to being like, being like, oh, I can do cuffs and like spike it, and like that's literally it. So when you start doing right, they're like, dude, that's a crazy yo-yo. Like that's so insane. Yeah. But honestly, even bigger than this, I really think, I don't know, the accessibility, D-Row, I feel like what I want to talk about is kind of outside of that realm. But I think the accessibility, like social media does make everything more accessible to players and people. But I think and I do feel like the awareness of Kendama is at the highest it's ever been. But obviously, what I want to talk about, like with this, is like the conversion rate of the awareness into people actually getting Kendamas doesn't seem to be as high as it should be, or as high as it could be. You know?
Yes.
I think the conversion is not there. Like the conversion definitely hasn't been over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, I think what really comes out of that is the overall like perception of Kendama and what kind of people are like associating Kendama with when they think about it, and so I think that is more like so now I'm not really talking about the barriers of entry. Now I'm just kind of talking perception, but I think that's a big thing that can be developed, and honestly, the thing that needs to be developed for Kendama to grow to another level. Because if the growth of Kendama was dependent on the skill reach and like the level of play, dude, we'd all be playing, like there'd be a lot of players doing Kendama for their full-time job, you know, because that's not the problem. Because we're at a point now where Taki's done six BB flip. This dude, I mean, he just posted. You definitely saw it the other day, like right? He posted clips of his live stream on his story.
Oh yes.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, like that was legitimately the crazy. Like I was like, this guy's on a different planet, you know. And there are way more players. There are a lot of players like that who are releasing tricks that are like. There's so many good Kendama players now. Like there's so many good Kendama players now.
Yeah.
Start doing tricks at a really high level, you know. So that's not the problem. The problem is the perception of Kendama and what actually bringing people from here to looking at Kendama and be like, like that's cool, like whatever, like the whatever they're thinking about it, to actually trying it. Like what's going to bridge the gap to them actually trying it? Because when they try it, you know, I've barely met anybody play Kendama who's tried Kendama and been like, that's stupid. Who's actually been an honest try and been like, that's actually stupid. I've been playing for 12 years. So I think it really is down to how can you change it, because a lot of people look at Kendama, they think either yo-yo, kind of like fidget thing, like right. Barely anybody looks at Kendama and actually thinks it's like, yep, that's fucking sick. Let me try it. Like I really did.
Yeah.
Like I've never felt that in 12 years.
Yeah.
And it does have all the potential to be that. But it's going to take a little work, you know, and that's actually a part of the bigger vision that Nick and I have with G Standard. Like we want to globalize. We want to play a big part in globalizing Kendama. So, and how in the first step towards doing that Nick and I believe is like it goes hand in hand with what we're doing right now is developing the players within. Because we can develop the players within to be the best we can all be. The perception of Kendama is going to automatically just go into a heightened state. You know, and because and one last thing I'll say on this is just, and I say that because, you know, people who don't know Kendama or like have kind of heard of it. Let's say they see someone playing Kendama for the first time, the image or whatever how this person acts, like what this person posts, how this person is, like that's now they're the complete reflection of the entire world of Kendama to this person who doesn't really know. Doesn't know. Right? Yep. Now this person is reflecting that entire world. So it's actually like we all have a big part of this. You know, we're all ambassadors of this. We all have a big part in you know, spreading Kendama, even if we don't like realize it. We can't just like wait for these companies to come up with something big, crazy shit. You know, because it's really not. If that was the case, you know, I feel like we'd already figured out. We can't. It's not just their responsibility. It's like we have all the opportunity to do this. You know, so that's a bigger aspect of what I wanted to talk about. Off that question, D-Row. Thank you.
Oof, deep. Yeah, there you go. We're gonna get like, you know, the next month probably like 3 reels from Zach about that one.
Yeah, probably.
Nice. All right, I think we have one more. Let's see it from 99 Kunami. What are your successful habits? Do you have a daily routine or prioritize something every day? Smiths every day? Is that something? Is that what that means?
What are my success habits?
Success habits. I mean, daily routines, something you prioritize.
Yeah. I think we'll just talk about stuff I prioritize every single day. I mean, I you know, I've done this in stages, right? Because something that, I mean, well, so I'll just tell you something that consistently I prioritize every single day without fail is like eating what makes my body feel best, and then like training, like working out. That has always been, I've seen massive returns from doing that in my life. Completely changed who I am as a person, not only physically, but more so mentally. Even though I don't want to discount the physical part, it's actually pretty huge, to be honest. Like, coming from the place I used to be at. So
you'll be thinking yourself when you're like, 70, 80.
Like it's actually massive. It's really important to work on them. I think it's impacted my life so much. So that's why I think that. And these habits, these just working what I feel like works best for me, and also training every single day. Those are like, I guess you could say those are my bottom line double like success habits. Like that's it. Even on days where I had such a packed schedule, I was like, oh man, I don't even know if I play Kendama right now. I had a ton of homework in college or whatever. Like I would get those two things in because I knew like that's just literally a part of my lifestyle right now. Like it's not even something I think about. It's something I do. It's like brushing my teeth. I
think that, and the eating one, the diet, what you have is probably the easiest one to kind of keep consistent because we all have to eat.
Exactly.
You just have to put in the extra effort to get the things that you specifically want for your diet.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. And that's something that's a great point. And like, I mean, both are so important, but like 100%, it's you could, we all have to eat, and that's why it's super important to pay attention to that, because it can really make or break like how you feel. So, just
be like Nick, go to Costco and
get like literally like 30 kilos of beef. Yeah.
Yeah.
He buys it for like a month. It's nuts, but it's cool. Honestly,
any other
like,
success?
Those are the success habits. And honestly, most days recently, I've been kind of just something I'm trying out, and it actually has been helping a lot. It's just journaling like my vision for the future that I want in a dream for the next 12, like big, like thinking, like challenging myself to think bigger with like thinking about like a 12-year vision that I want. You know, that's something I've been doing recently. So I'm not saying it's like I've been doing that for a long time, but that's been cool. It's been cool because it's making me realize more and more like what I want. Keep putting that intent, that subconscious intent, in my mind every single day. So that's been good. But overall, my main habits that have really stuck with me have been the eating and trade. So
there you have it. Ooh, all right, everyone. Q&A time has finished. Zach, there is about our hour, dude. Thank you so much for hanging out, for expressing more of your side of the 28 Tricks Later concepts, your messages. Hopefully they got through to a few more people, and maybe people can go back. You could probably even make like a digital book out of all that. 29 days. If not, they're just more awesome concepts for you and your bro to riff off of for the podcast, and for people who are checking that out. So what do we got going? You and Nick have, of course, sponsored players with suites. Maybe new mod coming. We don't know. Maybe is there going to be a new G Ken coming out? Anything? Like
I think
product wise,
I think what's on the horizon that I can say with 100% like confidence, and it's in the works that will come out very soon, is more opportunities for people and players like Colorado Kendama here, and anybody else resonate with what Nick and I are saying, and who are interested in G series. More opportunities to work with Nick and I. And actually, I talked a little bit about the vision that Nick and I are working towards in this, about change the perception of Kendama to grow it to a global scale. Anybody that's on board with that mission, we are going to come up with more opportunities for you to join us in that mission within this next month. So if you are interested in anything that Nick and I are saying, please message us. We'd love to get in contact with you. And yes, so 100% more opportunities in March for all of that stuff. And actually, I do want to announce something. Nick and I are going to be hosting a live event in Seattle second weekend of April. And so just like an Airbnb, 5 or 6 guys spend like a weekend together. And so I feel like it's never been done in Kendama, and actually I'm pretty sure it really hasn't, unless you count like NKR. Like I feel like it's different though. It's not like a camp; it's more of like an intimate, intimate setting. Yeah. So we're announcing that, and I will be announcing that very, very soon in 100,000% in the first week of March. But other than that, more opportunities to join Nick and I what we're doing, and obviously more opportunities to develop yourself as a Kendama player as well. So be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. massive movements from the Gallaghers. Everyone keep an eye on Zack and Nick to see what they're up to, see when they have available spots to pick their mind and to, grow Kendama globally. Because just like you said, we're all ambassadors of the game. We're all on team Kendama, no matter what sponsor you're repping or whatever, we all have that same passion to just like share the fun and the love that we get from playing to other people who we think can also benefit from. So, Zack, thank you so much. It was really amazing talking to you.
Thank you so much, dude. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you're following Zack and all the stuff he's doing. Have a good one. We'll see you all some other time on this massive interweb. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Keep it clean.